When it comes to another thing that you said, so this is a very vulnerable moment for me. I feel as if a lot of the things I struggle with, you teach on very well. A lot of things I struggle with is emotionally not being able to handle my children's emotions.
Ah, there you go. Yeah.
And I tend to lash out. I'm not the person that I'm supposed to be when it comes to them. I lose grace. I lose forgiveness. I'm weak on mercy. I'm weak on understanding. I'm even weaker when it comes to communicating and giving.
You want to dig in?
Giving them dig in? Let's dig in, brother. Let's dig in.
All right. How old are your kids?
So I have an 11-year-old from a previous relationship who that hasn't been an issue with. It's more so been with my youngest one, 4 years old and 2 years old.
Okay. All right. So we're going to do like a miniature version of my show. Is that cool?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So, give me an example of a time your son or daughter did something and you lashed out.
So my son yesterday, or a couple of days ago, it was this week. He essentially went to, he wanted to watch Monster Trucks and play Monster Trucks video game. I went ahead and I put the remote higher so he couldn't get it after I told him no multiple times. And then he went to go get it, and I ended up spanking him more hard than I wanted to. More of like, I responded in anger rather than responding in discipline, because I felt he was not listening. He was being disobedient. He was doing things that kids do at 4 years old. But instead of doing that, I spanked him, and I felt terrible about it. I was like, man, that was not good. And, he ended up talking to his mom, and he came back and said he was sorry for not listening. And I apologized as well for spanking him like that. And then it was just like one of those things where it just feels like it's a frequent occurrence with me and with him. And we've gotten way better over the years because it's been kind of an ongoing thing. But
so when your 4-year-old, when you tell him to do something, he doesn't do it. And in fact, he does the opposite. Forget him for a second. What is that? That's setting something off inside of you. What is that?
I think a lot of it revolves around selfishness and wanting things.
I don't think so.
To go my way.
No.
My wife,
deeper than that.
My wife says that she thinks it stems from not being able to express my emotions as a child and being pushed away and told not to, go in there and go in that arena, or being isolated as a youth when those big emotions would come up.
So when you got big emotions as a kid, you got sent away?
I was alone a lot in my room. I feel that it's like these emotions that my son is dealing with a lot of times when he either cries or when he whines or doesn't communicate well. It almost like it just kind of really ruffles my feathers. I feel like the alarm's going off in my head. I don't know how to help him. I don't know how to communicate, make things better. And it just seems like an ongoing issue with different realms of life, whether it be a behavior issue, whether it be not listening, whether it even just be him being tired.
So often when our kids don't do what we say, it makes us feel powerless. And there's nothing more terrifying, especially for a father trying to change his life, and especially for a father trying to do something different than he was given, trying to give his kids something different than he was given. There's nothing more terrifying than being powerless. And all of us have different responses to feeling powerless. Some of us, I walk away. I literally walk away. Some people yell. Some people hit. Some people just freak out. But it's that fear of being powerless. And I think you said it best. I don't know what to do to help. I don't know what to do to solve this problem. And I would challenge you to reimagine your kid crying as you are the solution. Like, he just wants to know, does daddy see me?
Okay.
I learned this from Dr. Becky Kennedy. She's a psychologist out of New York. And she said, simply looking at a kid when they're screaming, when they're flipping out, and just saying, I hear you, and I believe what you're saying. I believe that you're that mad. And then here's the magic phrase: your big feelings don't scare me. And when you choose to be done, I would love to have you back in the room, man. I would love you to be back in the house. Doesn't work without you. Come on.
For sure. He's the glue.
But there's that phrase of, I hear you and I see you. I believe you. I believe that hurt. I believe that you're that mad. And that doesn't scare me. I'm your dad.
Yeah.
And what that takes you from having to do is figure out and solve. And by the way, you're a comedian. What'd you do before you were a comedian?
I was in the police academy as well as a waiter.
All right. My guess is you have a lifetime of finding the boundaries and pushing it.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't be in the position you're in right now. You wouldn't be in the ministry job. You wouldn't have been a comedian. You wouldn't have been like considering law enforcement as a like. That's who you are. And so if you look at your kid, who you put the remote up here, and his body goes, I bet I can get up there.
He's me.
And so instead of seeing that as, oh, that's me, that's my boy. Like cool. I'm going to take the remote and put it in my pocket.
Yeah. Okay.
And most parents want to sit on the couch and go, don't do that. Well, then the 4-year-old acts like a 4-year-old and they do the thing and then we lose our minds. The parent has to get up and go get the controller or the remote or the piece of candy or whatever we don't want them to have because we're parents. That's our job. And they're 4, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so maybe it's putting it in your pocket, but it's looking at it and going, oh, this guy's going to be a boundary pusher. He's going to be the guy that goes into an organization and goes, why are we doing it like this? Why don't we do it like this and make $1 million more and help a whole bunch more people? And so I don't want to beat that out of my kid. I don't want that to remove that kid. And my kid has to learn that when dad says something, he means it, right? And I think most of us, if we were to back out with our kids and just think about having a boss, if our boss comes in and screams at us and says, you do this or you're fired, we'll do it. And we'll be on the first train out the door to a new job. But if a boss calls you in and says, hey, this is what my boss does. My boss, Dave Ramsey, pulls us in and says, hey, if you do this right, you're going to help somebody who's considering dying by suicide.
Wow.
You're going to help somebody meet Jesus. You're going to help somebody fix their family fortune that's been in a mess for a century.
Wow.
And dude, I'll run through a brick wall for that mission, right? I'll do that all day. And so one of those is, hey, you are a part of this gang, this rippy gang.
Let's go.
And you can't talk to us like that. That's not who we are. That's different than, I said, don't talk to me like that. You do what I say. One of those is an invitation to, hey, you're a part of this unit. You're a part of our gang, and we are ride or die. We don't talk to each other like that.
That's right.
The other is, I'm going to throw a temper tantrum bigger than your temper tantrum just because I got big muscles. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think it's that sense of, hey, you're not powerless at all. You're not powerless. You are actually you're trying to use algebra to solve a geometry problem.
Wow, that's real.
Like, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So next time he cries, meet him.
Okay.
Hold his face in both sides of your hand and look him in the eye and say, I see you. And whatever he just said, I believe you. And then say, those big feelings, I'm not scared of them. I'm your dad, and I love you.
Wow.
When you're ready to join us, man, we would love to have you back. And then you walk away filled, full, his shoulders drop, and he's like, oh, crap. Well, I don't get dad's attention by breaking stuff. Maybe I can get dad's attention by, right? And now we're on to a different track.
Yeah. Did you also reflect once on humor being something that you can use as a kind of a parenting mechanism to like break out of those strong emotions as far as like?
Yeah. I mean, humor is something, I've had some pretty sophisticated people who work in crisis listen to my show, and they're like, yeah, we see what you're doing. There is I always try to keep a close watch on what I call the teeter-totter. And when I'm talking to somebody who's really hurting, when it starts getting really, really deep, if it gets too deep, your body, it goes into fight or flight, right? And when you go to fight or flight, you're not listening, you're not learning, you're not able to get any new direction. That's the same thing when you scare your kid. When you scare your kid, scream at your kid, yell at your kid, hit your kid's in fight or flight. They're not learning anything. They're trying to stay safe. And like, I don't want my kid to ever feel like they have to stay safe from me, right? I should be the person they're hiding behind to stay safe from the world. And so, I will use humor to smash the other side of that teeter-totter. So if next time you listen to the show, you can hear me, I'll talk to somebody and we'll get real hard and then I'll just start laughing. Or I'll make a joke about their boyfriend. And you got to do it delicately and carefully. I've just been doing it a long time. But it helps bring everything back up to the surface so they can get some air, right? And so, yeah, humor is a great way. But here's the deal. With my son, when he's upset, humor works really well. Yeah. My daughter, it actually pushes her further underwater. She feels like I'm laughing at her, no matter what. And so I don't use humor as much with her as I do. So you just have to know the person that's in front of you. But yeah, humor can be really important.
Thank you so much for supporting our YouTube channel. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe and smash that like button. If you would like to see another short clip from this episode, you can do so here. Or if you want to see the full conversation, you can do so here. And make sure you subscribe on Patreon if you'd like to partner with us. You can do that at the link in the description of this video. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.